go back to it. We said we see a fox and a deer, and they might live in the forest or the woods. We'll be reading that to find out. What animals do we have on this
A
page?
shark and an octopus.
A shark and an octopus. Where do you think they live? In an ocean or the sea? Could a shark or an octopus live in a lake?
No.
No, that would not make any sense. Why would that not make any sense? Krisha, the
And
lake is too small.
if they don't go in the water, they'll die.
They need to be in the water, and a lake is just too small because they are very big animals. I am making a connection to a book we read yesterday. Do you remember they talked about a whale could be 100 feet long? That's very, very big. And we're going to measure that out later, but I made a connection to the book that we read yesterday. That was also where animals live, and it was a rhyming book. Now, here's another question that I have. They have children in a book about animals. Why do they have children in a book about animals? We're going to read to find out, all right? Right now I'm going to give you the book, and we're all going to read it together. So, what is the title of the book, James? Where Animals Live. And I had some questions after I looked through the book. I wondered what animal lives in the ground? What do you call an animal's house that's in the ground? I'm going to be reading to find out that answer. I also wondered at the end of the book, why do they have a book with children in it if the book is about animals? So I'm going to be reading to find out that answer. Do you have any questions about what might be in the book?
Maybe a prairie dog.
A prairie dog? Oh, have you seen a prairie dog before? There might be a prairie dog in this book. We'll have to read to find out where it lives. Evelyn. A deer. A deer is in the story. And what do you wonder about where a deer lives? Does it live in the forest? Or does it live in the woods? We'll have to read to find out, won't we? Let's open it up to the title page. How do I know where the title is? The biggest words on the page. Would you put your finger under the first word of the title? Where animals live. I want to tell Isabella's table I appreciate how quietly they are working. And Philip's table is working quietly. Thank you very much. All right, let's get ready to read. Where do we start? All right, let's read together. Animals live in many different places. Some animals... Oh, Mrs. Bresnahan just made a mistake. I said some animals live, but you know what? After the word some, do we have the word animals? No, the next word starts with what? Oh. I made a mistake, but you know what? I noticed you guys did not make a mistake. Sometimes even people who have been reading a long time make mistakes. Let's go back to here. Some live above the ground. Some live in the ground. Some live on the ground. Some live in the water. I really like how James was going smoothly along the page under the words so that his eyes aren't jumping all over the place when he reads. Let's turn the page. You can start. This bird lives in the trees. This monkey lives in the trees too. Mrs. Bresnahan made another mistake, but James did it, and he noticed that I made a mistake. On the second sentence in the book, put your finger under the first word on the second sentence on that page. What is that word? The. I said this. James, I heard him say the. This is a word that makes sense in that sentence, but it's not what the author wrote. So I had to go back and fix it. Let's read that second sentence again. The monkey lives in the trees too. This frog lives in a pond. The turtle lives in a pond too. Now, Evelyn thought that this picture might be of a tortoise. Find the word that says turtle and put your finger underneath it. Now, if that word were going to be tortoise, what would I have at the end of the word? I would have an S, but I have O. So I'm thinking it can't be tortoise, it must be turtle. And it tells us that they live in a pond. I know that because what letter does it start with? E, which says pup. If the word were going to be lake, what would it start with?
L.
Because lake says O. Okay, let's move on. The next page, I want you to notice. This is the page that I was wondering, what animal lives in the ground? I can see this animal sticking up from the ground, so he must live in the ground. And this little animal must live in the ground also. And my question was, what do you call the home of an animal that lives in the ground? So let's read it to find out. This prairie dog lives in a burrow. The woodchuck lives in a burrow too. So what animals are on that page? A woodchuck. Which one is the woodchuck? Yeah, woodchucks are big animals. Right? And the prairie dog is right here. And James thought it might be a prairie dog, and he was right. And it starts with maybe. Have you seen prairie dogs in other books before, James?
I'm not pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. All right, let's move on to the bats and bears. These bats live in a cave. This bear lives in a cave too. This deer lives in the woods. The fox lives in the woods too. So did it say woods or forest? And how do I know that the word is woods? It starts with a W. W says what? Forest would start with an. You're right. Let's move on. This octopus lives in the ocean. The whale lives in the ocean too. All right. Here we are on the last page, and it's the other page I had a question about. Why are there children in a book about animals and where they live? Let's read it to find out, okay? Mandy and Michael live in a house. People are animals too. So what did I learn on this page? People are animals too. Why, how would I know that they're animals?
Because they eat this junk.
They eat just like the animals in the story do. People can jump and animals can jump. What? Crawl, they crawl just like some animals do, and they drink water just like animals do. You're right. That is why we have people in a book about animals, because people are animals too. So a couple of the questions that I had, we were able to answer by reading in the book. Were there any questions that you had that we were able to answer? No? Okay.
I saw bats
They had their own home instead of, oh, you mean a cave separate from a bear's cave? They might. But I think they could also live in a cave where a bear lives, because where do bats sleep? They hang from the... They do hang from the trees, but in a cave, they hang from the top of the cave. Bears sleep on the ground, all right? We read another book a few days ago. A House is a House for Me. And we learned a song about a house is a house for me. So let's sing the song, and we're going to move on to the next part of our lesson, where we're going to draw a picture about where animals live. And I want you to be thinking about where animals live. So our song was, who wants to start it? It's not the woodchuck. A den is a house for a fox, and a hive is a house for a hen. A log is a house for a woodchuck, and a house is a house for me. A burrow is a house for a woodchuck, and a bird makes its house in a tree. A coop is a house for a chicken, and a house is a house for me. All right, now I want you to about what animal you could draw a picture of. And draw where that animal lives. Alright? That's the first thing we're going to do on our house picture. Why don't you guys talk together for a minute? All right. Now, did you listen to James? What is he going to draw? No. James, tell her what you're going to draw. All right. And what is Christian going to draw? And what do you think Evelyn is going to draw? A bird in a tree? All right. Where are your crayons? The first thing I want you to do, we're going to use these crayons, and in the house, you're going to draw your animal and where they live. And later on, we're going to write our sentence. We will say, the woods is a house for a fox. And we could say, a tree is a house for a butterfly. And yours is, a tree is a house for a... That's right. Okay. I'm going to let you get started, and I'm going to get the other children on their